Hey guys, here's another concept, okay? In the Bible book of Revelation, it talks about Jesus having 7 horns and 7 eyes, having been slaughtered, but having 7 horns and 7 eyes. He was the only one who could open the book of overcoming all mental illness and sin. Because the reason you become mentally ill is because you're still sinning. So 7 horns means 7 deadly sins he fell into, and 7 eyes means he overcame that and saw the truth about the 7 spirits of God. Because really, what it is, pride, gluttony, envy, sloth, greed, lust, envy, the 7, whatever, if I didn't count them all, those are 7 spirits. We go through this physical world as living human beings, the heart and soul, and we're confronted with situations that are a spirit. It's how we choose to make it, whether it becomes a horn or an eye. It's how we choose when we run into pride, or gluttony, or sloth, or envy, or greed, or anger, or envy. However I said it, the 7 of them. It's when we choose wrong, it becomes a horn. When we overcome, especially if we've fallen into the sin before, then we have an eye. I call it a crown of glory, a crown, like 7 deadly sins, or 7 crowns of victory. Pride is not necessarily a sin. It's false pride that's a sin. Lying pride that's a sin. When the truth calls you to be honest, and you lie, cheat, and steal, and put on a facade, that's false pride. That's a sin. But there's a reason to be proud of yourself when you do certain good things, or to be proud of your wife or your kids or your when they do great things. There's a reason for pride and honesty and love with God. That's when we lie, cheat, and steal in a sense, and we're false. That pride becomes a sin. Pride is just a spirit that we're confronted with. Do we choose good or evil? Sometimes we have to drop our fake facade and admit, hey, I am gay, or I was hiding this or that, or pride in a dishonest way is a sin. Okay, but when holy pride is not a sin, it's a crown. It's glory. It's an eye. Envy, in the wrong context, is a sin. You're envious, you're upset, something don't sit right with you. And think of envy more as almost like poison ivy, like something's irritating you, don't sit right with you. Well, false envy is when you see someone that worked for their job, and they get blessed, or they work to be a musician, they get blessed, and that don't sit right with you, even though they did the right thing to earn it. That's false envy. That's a sin. But if your wife is out cheating on you and sleeping with someone making pornos and it doesn't sit right with you, it's right to be envious. How about if someone stole their way into being a successful job somehow? It's right to be envious. That's holy envy. Same thing. There's holy anger. You should be pissed about certain things. There's also false anger when you have no right to be pissed. That's a horn of anger. That's a sin. There's a reason to be greedy. We need to collect money at times. When we get to the point where we're being dishonest and we're lying, cheating, stealing, that's a sin of greed. Gluttony. We should enjoy our food to a point. When we get to the point where we're just being gluttonous and we don't, and we lie, we eat too much, we lie, cheat, and steal. We eat too much. We're just going out of control. That's wrong. But there's a reason to enjoy your food. Lust. We're supposed to lust when we're with our loving wife, or if you're a woman, loving husband. There's a reason to lust and enjoy sex with your wife or husband. But when you're lusting for the wrong things, or you're not controlling your eyes, or you're doing dishonest shit, or you're watching porn, hey, that's in most cases porn. Sometimes porn I can justify it to a point, but when you're lusting in the wrong way, when you're lusting with the wrong motives, you're lying, cheating, stealing, that's a sin. Greed is holy when used right. Lust, envy, pride, sloth. Imagine when you're tired, you should go to sleep for the night. That's sloth. Sloth in the right way, being lazy is one thing. But when you lie, cheat, and steal, when you're doing dishonest things for sloth, you just want everyone to fucking give you a handout, you're not willing to do anything. Well, then sloth is a sin. All the seven deadly sins, as they call them, are also 7 eyes or 7 crowns of victory once you do them right. When you deal with them right. They're actually the 7 spirits of God in the book of Revelation. I can't remember if that's Revelation 1, 2, 3, or 4, but it mentions the seven spirits of God. And there was Jesus that successfully opened the book, like escaped the mental illness of sin, escaped, and was able to lead then, because he had overcome all human psychological illness and sin. He had 7 eyes after having fallen into the 7 deadly sins. The 7 horns are 7 deadly sins. The 7 eyes are really overcoming the darkness of sin, and I call it 7 crowns of glory. In Revelation 19 it says that Jesus had many crowns on his head, many diadems, many crowns of victory. He'd overcome sin. So pride is Holy One right. Greed is Holy One right. Lust is Holy One right. Envy is Holy One right. Anger is Holy One right. Sloth is Holy One right. Greed, lust, I don't know if I'm counting all 7. They're all holy when used, when done the right way with truth. But when you lie, cheat, and steal, you're dishonest some way, then they're a sin. They're the 7 horns. And usually it takes someone to fall into sin before they can find their way out of it and have a true, one of the 7 eyes, or all 7 eyes, to see the truth for what it is. It's the 7 spirits. I don't know if I said that very well. Just know that the 7 deadly sins are not what you think. They're the 7 spirits of God. It's how you choose. It's how you choose what you do when you run into these 7 spirits. Emotions are a spirit. That's what you choose to do when you have emotions that matter. Emotions are not always fact, but they are a scent. When you feel an emotion, it means you're dealing with the spirit. It's up to you how you choose. You choose right or wrong, good or evil, fearful or calm, courageous. Emotions are just a sign that you're dealing with the spirit. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. The 7 deadly sins are really 7 spirits. If you choose wrong, they're sins. If you choose right, they're eyes or crowns of victory.